Hey everyone, it's Foxy Sugarloop, and today we're going to be going over some interesting material. So I actually tried presenting this material to this physicist I've been working with, and he doesn't know any of this stuff, and it's just something I've been thinking about for a long time. So I tried to explain this, and then I ended up crying and getting a bloody nose, so it was a little embarrassing. Everything's fine though, you know, it's cool. I'll just cry. It's sweet. So today we are gonna go over some material that I was going to present to him, but failed to do so because I cried. So basically a long time ago, I kept thinking about The Collective Unconscious by Carl Jung. I just really like coffee. Anyway, so I kept thinking about it. It says, probably none of my empirical concepts has been met with so much misunderstanding as the idea of the collective unconscious. And I thought this was a brilliant concept because I was like, what if this is occurring in real life? Like, how is there some sort of scientific explanation for this phenomenon? You know, that was my question. And then I saw this video, and a couple other things have led up to it, like you know, understanding the work of like David Icke and different stuff like that. I didn't mention that to this person, but he really kind of was the person that woke me up. I think those books are kind of like a cheeseburger. They're really great, but if you want to get into the nitty-gritty, you really have to do your own research. Anyway, right here you can see that Jay Parker is a healer and truth activist and was born into a multi-generational satanic Illuminati family and suffered from monarch trauma-based mind control as a child. For the first 7 years of his life, Jay was subject to satanic ritual abuse, SRA, in a large cult setting. After a triggering incident in 2001, Jay recollected his memories of his childhood abuse and broke his Illuminati slave programming, spending roughly 10 years researching human consciousness, trauma-based mind control, and recovery methods and modalities. In 2013, Jay started speaking publicly about what he had begun sharing. So what was so... Oh, and right here, this is a quote from his mother, who seems to be quite a woman. He doesn't seem to... He calls her Mother Dearest, so I would assume he didn't like her very much. It says, the collective subconscious is the most important thing to the Illuminati. And it was kind of weird that he started talking about this in 2013, because I started getting these thoughts around 2015, 2016 about the collective unconscious. And if you need this right here, if you need any resources to understand what this is, the International Tribunal for Natural Justice has a lot of great testimonies. I'm kind of annoyed at a lot of this university thought, because it's like, we have these TV screens that say things like consent is sexy, like over and over again. It's very clearly mind control. I think they're trying to make the girls scared of the guys and the guys scared of the girls and whatnot. But anyway, I started looking into this, and one of the most interesting points that he makes is that he believes that we are living in a computer or a divine hologram. And I have two different pictures up here. One is of the pyramids with their lit up blue, and the UN did this in 2015. They lit up the pyramids blue. And when he was about 5.5 years old, this ritual was performed in the Church of Satan by members of the Marquis of Hell. This is located behind the Buzzware Art Gallery in Arlington, Delaware. So they take this guy out of his body, and he sees these blue pyramids and these giant black onyx stone boulders. He says that onyx is used to capture souls, and I'm pretty sure that information comes from this book. I'm pretty sure I have read this in this book, Bloodlines, not Bloodlines of the, but how the Illuminati create a totally undetectable mind control slave. So I have seen that information in there. He believes this is the computer running the hologram, and that we are living in an infinitely dense space, according to Nassim Haramein, who I have his DVD right here, Crossing the Event Horizon. That was upside down. Crossing the Event Horizon, which goes into the sacred geometry. Anyway, I might get a video burp. I might bless you with one. Every time, man. Every time. So anyway, he says this is a consciousness-based holodeck. And then he talks about this magic trick that I know that is mentioned in Holographic Universe. And he says that there was this trick that this man had this watch, and when he held it up, it had an encryption on it, and he was able to get this man to see through this paper and read the thing. So he was able to look through his daughter and see this. And I remember this actually happened to me when I was very young. I went to this magic show, and I'm not sure if this is the same trick or whatever, but they put me on this box, right? They put me in a box on top of this box because I was on stage, and the magician hypnotized the audience, and the box was invisible to the audience, but when I looked down, because I didn't see the hypnotism, I could see the box. It was very plainly there. It was a wooden box. So I wonder if this is the same trick. Sometimes I've wondered if that magician was an occultist, but anyway. So this is the Geo 600 gravitational wave detector. And what Jay said is that when they try to go below half a Planck's length, it's all white noise, like an old analog TV that can't find a station. He says some believe that that indicates simulation theory. And I wanted to ask him what gravitational waves are and if he thinks this is a real thing, but he kept interrupting, and I think he was kind of shocked at what I was presenting to him. So I actually didn't get any of my questions answered, unfortunately. He continues and he says that the Space Observing System has recorded that the Schumann resonance has been 7.5 for millions of years. All the planets have a resonant frequency. You can record different planetary sounds. Each planet has a resonant vibrational Hertz signature, and we have gone from 7.5 to 16.5. Jay claims that this number is related to the Fibonacci sequence. He claims that when 16.5 is combined with the Fibonacci sequence, you can get 528. It's related to the heart energy center, or the heart chakra, so that the heart is in a state of repair. He says that the DNA is a DNA repair code transmitter. If you put your feet in dirt, this energy would be palpable. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see. So I think I have this book. Yes, I do. So this is Morphic Resonance by Rupert Sheldrake. This book has a lot of really beautiful illustrations in it that I really like. It's been a while since I've read this book. I definitely need to reread all of these books so I can hone down on this idea. Also, note if there's any people who are scientists, PhDs, physicists, geologists, biologists, whatever, that want to help me piece this together, the more scientific aspect of it, that would be really cool, because, you know, I'm really good at finding information and piecing it together, but, you know, I don't have the skill set that a PhD does of, you know, doing all the math and stuff like that. So if anyone wants to help, that would be really cool. So anyway, he says morphic resonance is about how nature communicates, shares energy, and progresses in knowledge of itself. And he says that the abuse is directed by higher entities and ETs. If they were not doing the abuse, the morphogenetic field, which he calls the goddess, would not be poisoned. If people could just not do evil. And right here on the side, I have two books. I have The Secret Life of Plants, which is an excellent book that I would definitely recommend people read. I do believe, personally, it's just my belief, that plants are sentient. I also think that kind of blows I really like the Ashayana perspective, which we'll get to in a second, that plants are sentient, so like really eating meat is not immoral, because I mean, she says that plants have faces and they scream and bleed when you cut them, but you can't really see through those filters. So, and I also have a picture right here of the ley lines of the planet. This is some information that's made by Peter Shampoo, or Shampoo. Yeah, Peter Shampoo. It's a French name, but it sounds like shampoo. So I wonder if this, yeah, I don't know. Does anyone know if, where these ley lines are? That would be really cool for me to understand if they're setting up near Masonic lodges, or anything like that. That would be some interesting information. Okay. So next, oh, this is where we're getting into Crossing the Event Horizon by Nassim Haramein. Now he goes through the sacred geometry and how it works, and specifically here I have a diagram that he made of the Tree of Life, and he's saying it's a unit in physics. And Jay talks about in his presentation, he asked, how were the obelisks cut? How did the ancients function? Like, how did stuff really work? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. I also have, I didn't do anything, everything you know is wrong. I'm starting to think that evolution is a bunk theory. I've studied it for a while. I personally, after the things I've seen, I do not believe that we're shape-shifting monkeys. And I think that Lloyd Pye only has a degree in psychology, but the thing is, it's like a lot of us, he has this grant, and it's called the, I think the Alternative Research Grant. If we're talking for people that are like, quietly earning their PhDs in the area of alternative research. So yeah. Let me see if I can find this. Oh yes. I don't know if I have Wisdom of Yourselves with me. I don't know where Wisdom of Yourself is, so I'm not gonna move. This is Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. This is talking about how your thoughts can impact your genes, and it can change your DNA. This is why the SRA continues. If the occult stopped, many of the DNA codes would switch on. And I think this is really consistent with the Ashayana material, because you know, it's like, it's talking about, I don't know if she's telling the truth. I don't know what even to make of that material, if I'm being honest. But, you know, like, what if we really did have more DNA? What if that was, what if we did have superpowers? That's what I'm saying, because that when I was questioning whether the collective unconscious was real, I also kept questioning whether or not I had superpowers. As weird as that sound, I just started thinking that. And you know, Penny L.A. Shepherd, she says this really interesting thing, that if you think you might have superpowers, you might, because there's a lot of super soldiers out there, so, you know. He goes on to the Thunderbolt of the Gods. Jay claims that the universe runs on plasma, the universe is electric, the sun is not atomic. Now, I don't know much about this or how this would work, but, you know, yeah. Then, kind of going into this idea, what I started studying the work of Mark Passio, and I'm continually studying it because that is a very large body of work, and you can thank him for pushing me to make videos, because for a long time I was way too scared to make videos, so you can thank him for that. But this is going over the Hermetic tradition, Rosicrucianism, Theosophy, which they talk about L. Frank Baum being a theosophist. This is all something I'm still studying, I'm still learning, so I'll be producing videos and you can learn with me. That's kind of what you're doing too, is you're learning with me as I'm developing these ideas. So this next point is for theoretical exploration only. Talking about potential time travel technology, potential communication with gnomes, potential development of blended brainwaves, not just gamma, alpha, beta, delta. So that's what they're saying, that when I was using this technology that's produced by Ashiana Dean, I still can't figure out whether it's good, it's bad, we'll get into that in a second, but basically, in these future space-time locations, there are brainwaves that are blended. And as you project your consciousness into these different space-time locations, you develop neural pathways that are similar to the ones that exist in those space-time locations. So basically, that's neuroplasticity. So how neuroplastic your brain is. So this is Ashiana Dean, and I'm not sure if she would want me to show, like, because this material is, if you've seen this material, you get it, you're just like, what? Like, it's a rabbit hole. Anyway, I don't know what to think of it, really. I really don't. I'm just like, I did it for a long time, and like, then I just had to be like, yo, like, I don't know what to think of this. I just don't know. Like, there's just so many what ifs. Anyway, so it says, Earth sync is a progressive process of biological plasma body activation that allows for progressive synchronization between vibrational encryptions and time waves of the personal planetary plasma body structures. Do we have multiple strands of DNA? How much electricity can the body hold? She claims that black holes relate to the Metatronic templates. So she's claiming that our entire reality, when we talk about the sacred geometry being some sort of unit in reality, and the Fibonacci sequence, like Jay was talking about, that it's altered. And the thing about this, and the reason why this was so attractive to me, was because it is so similar to what Jay talks about. It's very, very, very similar. A lot of the key concepts are, so that's why I was like, let me investigate this. And I did investigate it for a long time, and let me tell you, I have no idea what to think about it. So it says the core holographic templates of both the personal and the planetary morphogenetic fields are built upon scalar standing wave Kadartha grids. As the morphogenetic fields of the species are interwoven into a larger morphogenetic field of the planet they inhabit, there is a direct energetic connection between the Kadartha grids of the individuals and that of the planetary body. And so you can see why I was interested in it. The core holographic templates. 1 minute. I got a bunch of books on my lap. I don't know where Holographic Universe is. I don't know, I guess you're not going to get to see that book. I just have too many books in my lap, man. Okay, so... Anyway, continuing. So, This connection between the personal and planetary cartographic grids is called the Planetary Biofeed Interface System. For thousands of years, the planetary cartographic grid has carried distortions in its natural pattern that have rendered the IPBIS primarily inoperable. Cartographic distortions in the planetary morphogenetic field blocked by humans' innate ability to draw energy for regeneration and revitalization of the planet's morphogenetic field. So, we're just going to look at some diagrams. So look at this vertical diagram of the vertical map planes and the shield density of Earth. So they're claiming the one difference between this is that the sacred geometry is altered and the tree of life actually has 12 trees, which like intuitively and in a right brain sense does make sense to me. Yeah. And then it's showing this. So it's kind of like almost like when I was investigating this, that the tree of life is running through the earth. So your chakra systems do exist. And the tree of life is related to that. And that there's another chakra system that's running to the earth. And you and the earth are connected because human beings are supposed to be some sort of guardians for these things called stargates. And one thing I found very fascinating was that there is this alternate version of Colorado called the Winterlands or the Ashuanava that you can get to if you practice. There's all these different spaces you can get to. And that's the thing about this is what I've noticed with the psychic phenomenon is it's a lot of practice and just doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And it's like a progressive vibrational adjustment until you're able to do these certain things. So that's what gets me about this stuff is it's so incredibly detailed. And it's very hard for me to believe that this woman is really, this woman with a 10th grade education is really just making all of this up. She's just making it up. She's some sort of weird genius that she invented this weird theory to sell this to like 10,000 people max. What makes significantly more sense to me is that it is real, but we don't know whether it's good or it's bad. You know what I mean? And people wonder how I'm coming to these conclusions. They're very common sense conclusions that you can come to. And that's why I'm asking for maybe someone who is a greater scientist than I to come help me with this. So the point of this was to use the mathematical codes to get the gnomes. Get to the gnome hot tubs. That's a lot of what you do is this thing called optical pineal induction, where you cross your eyes, just did it a little bit with that code right there, and progressively you develop neural pathways that are similar to these different space-time locations, such as the gnome hot tubs. So yeah. This is the aspect of the tryptophasic nervous system, the plasmatic fascia layer. See, it's like very interesting. It's just like, is she really making this up? This is just made up. I don't know if I believe that. The waves of the love elf fields. This is where it gets really weird. It took me a while to understand this when going through the DVD. I think this is something like how you're going through the different cycles of life and like reincarnation, and there's all these different units, and it's really, really intricate. I have no idea what any of this means anymore. Like, I couldn't tell you what the fuck this means. I'm just looking at it like, what the hell? I know it's interesting for sure when you look at it. Anyway, yeah, some sort of I know that's the Eye of Lilith, or the Lilith Sheath doorway, and you have to project yourself, like, through this, like, tunnel. You, like, go through these, like, the little rainbow thing is, like, this thing you go through to get to the Lilith Shield doorway, and to get to this, you become this like weird wave encryption, and it's a time, man. I don't even know I don't know what to think about it, man. It's really interesting, and it would be awesome if it was good and true, but I don't know how to trust anything anymore, so that's just what's going on. I don't know how to trust anything. Yep. Anyway, yeah. Oh, talking about the relationship with the M31 Andromeda, the Milky Way galaxy, you know, magnetic reconnection of the solar system. Just, like, I forget what a lot of these mean, but it's just interesting to look at. What are Fermi bubbles? This thing in the corner is this, like, weird code that they actually took a picture of, and apparently it does something to your plasma body. And that's another thing that Jay said, that the world runs on plasmas, and then I was building this thing called a plasma body. Kind of interesting, man. I don't know. Magnetic reconnection, what is plasma? And I really wanted to see if this physicist would help me, but he was being very critical about all this, and we didn't actually get to these slides. Yeah. Star map correspondence, talking about how the Fibonacci sequence is making things. Oh, talking about how the Fibonacci sequence is creating the black hole because everything is totally off. That our natural solar system has this certain alignment. Yeah, it's aligned in a certain way, and he wanted to know about the black holes, but he wasn't letting me get to it, my man. The poison apple grid, that the precession of the equinoxes is really an unnatural thing. Yeah, and I wanted to ask about all this. And lastly, where this whole theory is going, Coastal Ooch is... I have a lot of respect for this guy, but he actually just terrifies me. Like, I love reading his books, but oh my god. I just am like... I'm speechless. I think he's a genius. He makes these, like, rainmaker devices. I have nothing but... Like, he's so cool, but I'm just like, oh my lord. Yeah, he's just really interesting, really cool, nothing but respect for him, a little scared of him, but he's interesting. And I wanted to discuss this with this physicist because, you know, I had been learning about Lenz's law and the finger rule and all the stuff, and learning how to understand it, like Lenz's law. When an EMF is generated by the change in magnetic flux, according to Faraday's law, the polarity of the induced EMF is such that it produces a current whose magnetic field opposes the change in which it produces it. The index of the magnetic field inside the loop wire always acts to keep the magnetic flux in the loop constant. If the B field is increasing, the induced field acts in opposition to it. If it is decreasing, the induced field acts in the direction of the applied field, trying to keep it constant. And really, this is just like a manual on how to make these machines, and it's just so fascinating because it's not like the Ashiana-Dean material where it's like the Ashiana-Dean material seems kind of pie in the sky and it's hard to explain to people, but this is... Oh yeah, here's another thing, psychic abilities. You have to be patient. It takes time. It's like something you have to constantly practice, which is really what I'm seeing is true. You know, it's hard to get people who... You know, I've spent years studying science. I'm really sick of it. I just want to become an artist, quite frankly. I've done my duty to science. I'll probably continue doing this. I don't think I'm going to do like a doctorate or a PhD or anything. Just knowing... After knowing this, I realized they indoctrinate people, and everything you know is wrong. It's wrong, okay? And that's why I just want to be an artist after this. But, no, like the rainbow light body, superpowers, slowing down... Yeah, this guy is a freak, and I 100% believe that he can do these things. Yeah. No, I'm just saying... And that's what I also don't understand about it, is it seems like the Ashiana-Dean material and his material are kind of opposing, because I think he talks about the Galactic Federation of Light, and I think the other one calls them the Galactic Federation of Lies, and that's why I'm just not touching this kind of stuff right now, because it's like, I don't know what to think about it. You know what I mean? I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. They both call these people guardians. Coastal claimed that the rainbow light body and the plasma body are the same thing, and that your ultimate goal is to develop the rainbow. And that I had started researching his work right after I had done all this development of the plasma body, and I was just really curious about what this was, what's another scientific perspective, and he was the next scientific perspective that I attracted. Sorry mate, my camera just stopped recording. It's all fine, technical interruption. But yeah, and another thing is too, I just want to say this is not an isolated incident. There are a lot of cases of people claiming to be super soldiers, like talking about how Montauk is a real place, the creation of mind-controlled genetically enhanced super soldiers, mind-controlled assassins and sex slave, barter for the exchange of humans as slave labor, looking glass technology, stargates. All this stuff potentially could be real, you just have to look for it. And that's what I'm going to say in closing. Also, so if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to keep doing research videos, and if anyone who is a scientist wants to help me with this problem, someone who is better at math than me, because, you know, I can link it together, man, but I really don't care. I'm not as deep into science. I kind of just want to be an artist after this. So let the artist be the artist and let the scientist be the scientist. Come help me with this. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Gumby Strikes Back. There you can kind of see my research before I release it. So, you know, yeah, I hope you like this. See you later. This is Foxy Shigaloop. Trying to manifest why don't we do this at the end? We'll do a tarot card and manifestation thing. Let's do the one for the audience. Whoever's watching this. Let's see what your thing is. This is kind of risky. I was like, oh my gosh. What if I give the audience bad cards? But you're manifesting it by putting it out. I'm just letting you know. I want the best for y'all. So let's really hope you'll get something good. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Well, audience. First you got the star. It's not exactly zooming in. Yeah, you got the star. Okay. I can only sort of see my face and I have to lean forward. Oh my god. Yeah, the star. Yep. Then you got this guy. You know, she's the 7 stars of Pleiades. She's singing with her sister stars. He's a little disappointed and has to move forth. And then you got some heartbreak going on. And the only reason why I'm interested in tarot is because Mark Passio said it's interesting. So let's, not too shabby. That ain't too bad. Let's see me, man. Let's see me, man. I hope I get the Magician and like the Hanged Man and the Sunchild. That would be pretty epic. Let's see what, ooh. Ooh. Oh! Killer draw for this today. So, first I got Justice, so I'm really hoping there's gonna be justice for all the people that are involved in these projects, and that, you know, they start releasing the technology, we get to live in the ascension. That's like really just what I want. You know, I heard about all this terrible stuff, and I'm like, okay, so when's the good part gonna happen? Sweet. Strength, I think this is me, even though I cried, and when I was talking to that physicist, I think that was a really strong thing for me to do, facing my fears, getting on camera, because you know, I'm not an angel. I'm scared of this just like anybody else. It's not, what the hell? I know I'm not on the side of evil, though. I know I'm not all love and light and stuff, and I know I'm not perfect, because you can't be perfect, but, like, yeah. And then I got the Fool, which is on the Doth position of the Tree of Life, and that is the Soul card. So that is a great draw. Holy crap. And, yeah. Like and subscribe, bro. Like and subscribe. Boop.